Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. The Apple Watch Ultra second generation was launched recently. I've just got my hands on one and have been using it for over a week now. Coming in from an older SE, this is my detailed review. In this video, we will cover everything that's new with the Ultra 2, how it compares with the Series 9 and the second generation SE, and should you actually get one. The Ultra 2 is arguably Apple's best and most expensive smartwatch for iPhone owners, thanks to its snappy and easy to navigate interface, health monitoring options, and smooth integration with Apple products. Before even jumping into the review, let me say this watch is not for someone who has the Ultra first gen, and it's more for someone who is coming in from an older Apple Watch, say a Series 4 or 5, or even a Watch SE. Having said that, let's now jump into the review. What's really different from the Ultra One? So, if you really look around the watch, you will be hard pressed to note any difference if you've seen the Ultra One. And that's not really your fault because there is actually no difference. The Ultra One and Ultra 2 are exactly the same from the outside. All the differences that Apple has made is only to the internals. So what the Ultra 2 gets compared to the Ultra 1 is a new S9 SIP. SIP, or System in Package, as Apple calls it, is the new silicon that enables a bunch of new features on the Ultra 2. Now, whether these features are really important and would it make sense to get one purely for these features, you can now double tap, which is basically tapping your thumb and index finger together to answer a call, move through the smart stack, play or pause music, send a message, or even control the timer. Siri gets a lot faster as well since it moves to on-device processing instead of going to the cloud, at least for simple questions which don't actually need the internet. So, if you're going to ask Siri about the time or ask it to start a timer or even to open an app, it's going to do it much faster than before. And this is something that's really noticeable, especially since Siri isn't really the best assistant out there. You will also notice that going out in bright sunlight, the screen will get noticeably brighter. That's because the brightness of this screen goes up to 3000 nits, and this is actually the brightest screen that Apple has put on any device. So, safe to say here that you will have no problems viewing this watch in bright, sunny days. With the Watch 10.0 update, Siri is also able to answer health related questions such as what your average heart rate is, or if you want to log having taken a medicine. However, in my testing of this feature, I noticed it is still only available if you selected English, United States, or Mandarin as your languages. It does not seem to be working with any other languages that you select. Another new feature enabled by the S9 is the second generation ultra wideband chip precision finding, which you can use to now find your iPhone by showing you the approximate distance and direction. And when you actually get close enough, a haptic feedback, an audible chirp, and a visual indicator helps you to actually go and zero in on it. Now, coming to the bands and which band to really get, you get a choice of three bands between the Alpine Loop, the Trail Loop, and Ocean Band. While the Alpine and Trail Loops are carbon neutral, there is no such mention on the Ocean Band. I chose to get mine in the Blue Ocean Band as I'm not really sure of the durability of the Alpine and Trail Loops, but also because this is really the band you need to get if you're going to use your watch for workouts. Apple has branded the Trail Loop as the all purpose everyday band, and this comes with a Velcro strap. The Ocean Band is primarily for water related activities, and the Alpine Loop is for high altitude mountaineering activities. I'm not sure how many of us are actually going to do deep sea diving and high altitude mountain climbing on a regular basis, but this watch is capable should you decide to take the plunge. The Ocean Band is made of the same fluoroelastomer material as the watch band of my older SE. And if you want to see how I assemble the band, head on over to the unboxing video on my channel for the same. So, how exactly does the Ultra compare against the Series 9 and SE? Well, I have an old SE, and this is how it looks directly against the SE, placed side by side. Now, compared to the SE, what you get additionally on the Ultra is the ECG app, the blood oxygen sensor, and temperature sensing. The SE can only get up to 1000 nits in peak brightness, making it harder to use in direct sunlight. It loses the always on display and has an older S8 chip from last year's Series 8. Compared to the Series 9, you get a 49 titanium body instead of the aluminum or stainless steel casing, a bigger battery rated for up to 36 hours compared to 18 hours on the 9, and a brighter display that goes up to 3000 nits compared to 2000 on the 9. Now, coming to the pricing, the Ultra 2 is significantly more expensive than the Series 9 with comparable features, which comes in at 89,900. But I can also spec up the Series 9 with a sapphire crystal cellular connectivity and stainless steel finish and choosing the Milanese loop to reach 8900, which is only 9000 shy of the Ultra's pricing. Now, if you're only interested in the health features of the Series 9 compared to the SE, you could get the 45 aluminum model with GPS only, which drops in at 44,900, which is literally half the price of the Ultra, coming in at 89,900. The cellular model of the Series 9 is more expensive by 10K, so that drops in at 54,900. The SE in comparison will set you back by 32,900 for the GPS model and 37,900 for the cellular model. Depending on which features it is that really interests you or the features that you really need in your watch, I would suggest you choose between the SE or the Series 9. But if the ultimate Apple Watch is what you want to have, and you want the absolute best in terms of the build quality, in terms of the features, as well as the future proofing of the watch, then the Ultra is not less of a solid choice to go with. To summarize, if you have an older Series 4 or 5 or are really interested in all of the additional health features, you can consider the Ultra 2 or Series 9. If having the absolute best watch that Apple makes today with a bigger display and a 2-day battery life is something important to you, I would recommend the Ultra 2 over the Series 9. Notably, these recommendations are against the backdrop of expectations of a major design overhaul with the 10th generation Series 10 or Apple Watch 10 or X, similar to what Apple did with the iPhone 10. If you like the review, do subscribe to the channel for more such content.